Welcome to the Mixed Reception Podcast. I'm your host, Barrett Sigmund. And today we have a returning guest, James Roach. Welcome
Hey,
back to the show, James.
thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun last time, and I'm looking forward to talking about this movie.
Yeah, you're a two-timer. You're in the two-timer club.
Hell yeah.
What an honor. Okay,
It really
so
is.
today we're doing Dune, the 1984 movie directed by David Lynch. I've never seen, well, I watched it for the first time last night. I had never seen it. I've always wanted to see it. I'm a big David Lynch fan. And I figured the new movie is just around the corner. It's coming out next month. And I thought, what better time to discuss the original than now? So, what is your history with Dune?
Well, okay, so it came out back in 84, and I remember I would have been about 7 years old when that thing came out. But I do remember being real excited to try to get my parents to take me to the theater to see it because, I was a big fan of Star Wars. We had Star Wars, the original Star Trek, the motion picture, and like Wrath of Khan were like, I think I had Wrath of Khan. Oh, Flash Gordon, I know I had. We had all those on VHS. We have those in heavy rotation. So just seeing the trailer for Dune, my little 7-year-old brain was like, I can't wait to see this. That's going to be so good. My parents were like, I don't know. I don't think we're going to go see that in theaters.
They were right.
And we didn't. But, a couple of years later, a few years later, I did get around to seeing it. And, I liked it a lot. I think a lot of the criticism it gets is deserved, but I think it's a fun movie that really just does its best. Does the best it can do.
We were talking offline a little bit. So you've read some of the books, right?
I think I've read all of them except maybe the last one. Might have given up around like Chapter House Dune, but I did read them like throughout high school. And they're a chore.
Really?
There's a lot. Yeah, there's some cool. The first two books are actually pretty good, but like his writing style is not one I really enjoy. It's just it's a freaking slog, I think. And like very almost, I don't even know how to, it's been so long since I've read them, but I do remember that it was a chore and I just kept going through it, and I don't know why I did that to myself.
I actually bought the book
Mhm.
I don't know, like 3 years ago, and I still haven't read it. I do this thing where I'm always like, I'm going to get into reading again. And I'm a lazy piece of shit. So maybe next year. I swear to God, I do this shit every year. I'm like, New Year. My resolution is going to be, I'm going to start reading more, and then I just don't.
Yeah, I'm right there.
I still want to read the book though. I don't know, this movie. Okay. I don't
honestly
the good movie.
The first two books are good.
Yeah. So this is Frank. What is this? What is Frank Herbert? Yeah. So there's Dune Messiah, Children of Dune, right. And then there's, how many books are there?
I want to say six that he wrote, I think.
And then I think he died, and then I think his kids did the last two.
His son started like writing in the Dune universe along with, I think the guy's name was Kevin Anderson, was like a co-writer with this, and Kevin Anderson did a lot of the early Star Wars novels when they started getting like novelized in their own like separate thing after the movies. So
yeah, I don't know. I do want to read it though. So I don't know. Should we just jump right into it?
Yeah, let's get into it. How do you want to do this? I mean, the last movie I talked with you about was music, and I don't know that that's lends itself as well to this one. So you lead, I'll follow. It's your podcast.
I think this movie, I don't think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
But I appreciated it from like a visual standpoint. I think like the visuals are like the production design is amazing, like the costumes, the sets. I mean, all that stuff is great. I love like the designs of the ships and that weird like
the navigator,
the weird brain monster who has like an anus mouth and shoots lightning out of his butthole. I mean, all that stuff was just like really weird and cool. But gosh, this movie has some serious like script problems.
I think I agree with I agree with you on that, and especially the movie itself. It's coming in a little over 2 hours. I think I don't have the runtime.
It's 2 hours and 17 minutes.
Okay, and it probably needed to be another hour or two longer.
Yes,
which is because it really feels rushed, especially once they get to the part where Paul and Jessica are in the desert with the Fremen. Like then it's just like we got to go, man. We're done making this movie.
Oh my God, point. You hit it on the head. Because I was actually kind of with the movie for like the first hour. I'm like, okay, this is weird. There's some issues. But then like, yeah, that second hour is just like, whoa. Like, let's slow down. Like, we need to let some of these like storylines like kind of breathe a little bit. Cause yeah, like that whole last hour is just rushed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's like he meets up with like the I guess the natives, and then
he
trains them, and then all of a sudden he's like having sex with that girl, and then 2 years have passed, and I'm like, whoa, like what the fuck?
Yeah, like that's a big problem with this movie. I mean, I like it for much the same reasons you do. I think it's it does as good a job of as adapting the source material as it could, given that they're only given it the 2 hours to make it. But everything's so rushed. There's not a whole lot of stuff explained. Like, you see early in the movie when him and Patrick Stewart or Gurney Halleck are training. Paul and Gurney are training, yes. And they're fighting with. They got the shield, which looks pretty cool for the time. And
oh no, it looks horrible.
Yeah,
that's got to look better in the new movie. Like,
yeah. But you also see that they have like lasers and guns and shit. And so like you're kind of left wondering like why are we using these shields and these knives and stuff and not just shooting everybody with lasers? Well, that's actually explained in other material, but it would I don't know. It's just there's so much that is not explained. Like,
well, before we like really get into it,
yeah.
I like we should probably explain like what Dune is about, because this is one of those movies. It's weird because it is like, from what I read, it's like one of the best selling like science fiction novels like ever.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one of the most critically acclaimed. So it was a big book. I mean, it was huge. I mean, it came out in 1965, but I still feel like your average Joe probably doesn't like know what the fuck Dune is. So I'm going to let you explain Dune.
Okay. Explain Dune.
Simplest terms.
All right. So Dune takes place in like the year 10,000 something. And
10,091, I think.
Yeah, it's way future. Which is a great place to set your fiction, because then if you're ever wrong, no one's going to call you on your shit.
Right.
But and we're all in outer space, and it's kind of like the known universe is ruled by it's ruled by an emperor, and it's kind of divided into little like fiefdoms and stuff, kind of like
families, like it's like really it's like nobility kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like space Game of Thrones. Just make it a simple kind of analogy.
Yes.
And the thing that makes all this possible, like the interstellar travel and all this, and is this drug, the spice melange, which is only found on the planet Arrakis, aka
also known as Dune.
Yeah. Yeah, aka Dune. And basically what the emperor does is he gives out contracts to the great families to go mine the spice, and it's kind of like an honor, and you're going to get a lot of money. And he the two main families, there's a lot going on in this. The two main families that you got to worry about are the Atreides, who are the good guys, and the Harkonnens, who are the bad guys, and they are just freaking vile. Like they're really gross. They're like anything bad you can think of. Incest, pedophilia, all that stuff's going on with the Harkonnens, right?
Yes.
And
very nasty.
They're like, yeah. They're like, those two houses are ancient enemies. They don't really get into why in the movie, but you can kind of understand just from like looking at the Harkonnens that, they suck. So the Harkonnens have been running Arrakis for a while. and the Atreides have been getting really powerful in like with the intergalactic families and stuff. So the Emperor has devised a plan where he's going to give the Atreides Arrakis, and then he's going to work with the Harkonnens to basically wipe the Atreides out because he doesn't like them getting all powerful or all popular and stuff. Is the basic early plot stuff.
Yes, and then also there's a little bit of like Paul Atreides is the chosen one.
Yeah, he's space.
Yeah. There's some prophecy. Jesus. I guess the prophecy, was foretold by those like sisterhood.
Yeah, the Bene Gesserit are they're like this monastic order of women, and they've been taking the spice, and it's kind of like giving them mental abilities where they can kind of mind control you with their voices and do some other pretty badass shit. But they've also been doing like selective breeding, trying to create what is called the Kwisatz Haderach, who is going to be Space Jesus. And they're doing this breeding very selectively so that when this guy does show up, they can control him. And it turns out that, Paul becomes Space Jesus.
What a weird name to like all these other weird fucking names, and this guy's name was Paul.
Yeah,
Paul, son of Jessica, like,
yeah, and everyone else has got really cool names like the Beast Raban and Fade and Gurney and shit. But yeah, no, Paul's a pretty pedestrian name.
No, you explained it perfectly. I would not have been able to do that. That was beautiful.
Well, thanks, man.
So yeah, that's basically what it's about, pretty much. For people who don't know, but yeah, we can kind of get back into the movie. But I think Jesus Christ, so many inner monologues. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, everybody gets one. They were handing them out that day, weren't they?
And it's like, it's like they say they're thinking the most like obvious things in a lot of cases. Like there's one, I don't know, for example, like one scene is like that like little knife thing, that dart thing that's like floating and chasing Paul. And then like Kyle MacLachlan's like inner thoughts is like, I gotta catch this. And you're just like, what? Like, no shit. No shit.
Like, like somebody's trying to kill me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, no, I don't know. It's just like there's all subtlety is removed, all discovery, just that's the biggest problem with this movie. And then there's also a lot of narration. Yeah,
and it's weird. I mean, I forget whether or not they changed narrators throughout the film, but I know like Virginia Madsen is the daughter of the Emperor, so she's the princess of the universe basically, and she handles most of the narration for this film. But her character doesn't do anything.
No,
at all.
Not
like I don't think she has any lines.
She shows up at the end and just stands there.
Yeah, I think she shows up in the very beginning and she's like, "Dad, what's going on?" And he's like, "Get out of here."
Yeah, he's like, "Fuck off, bitch." Well, the opening scene is like it's like a 2-minute like monologue from Virginia Madsen, and she's like talking like right to the audience.
Yeah, her head is floating in space.
Yeah, in a space background, and she's just explaining kind of the history of everything. And I shit you not, at one point, she's like, there's like a pause, and she's like, also,
she's like, "Oh yeah, I almost forgot."
Yeah, she says, I swear to God, she says like, "Oh, I almost forgot."
Yeah. Like, "Oh yeah, it's only found on Arrakis, also known as Dune."
That was the cool title. But yeah, I know the I know the narration stuff at the beginning. That was a studio mandate. So you are right. You hit it on the head. So it feels like it should have been another hour. I think David Lynch wanted the original cut, from what I read, was like 4 hours, and it was his intention to cut it down to 3 hours. And then the studio was like, no, like we got to make this thing like around 2 hours. So and that's why the movie feels so like rushed. Yeah, I swear to God, there's like scenes missing. I'm just like, whoa. What?
Yeah, and I think that when I was finishing my rewatch last night, yeah, there's scenes missing, and it doesn't feel very finished. Because I really noticed when they're this is kind of almost halfway into the movie. The Harkonnens and the Baron's people, or sorry, no, the Harkonnens and the Emperor's people are invading the Atreides like house.
Yes.
On Dune, and Duncan Idaho's there. He's kind of doesn't really get to do much of anything, but he's there and he's like fighting them off, and he has his gun, and he makes a move. The actor makes a move like it's shooting, but nothing comes out, no laser or anything, and then they cut and like somebody else, like a bunch of people just die. So I was like, I think there must have been a rush.
Oh, it was such a rush. Like there's I swear to God, we're talking about a love story. Like they meet and then there's like a jump cut and then they're in bed together and then it jumps to it's so janky. I'm like, whoa. What happened? There's like no character development with that. Like, well, with a lot of characters, but especially that love interest.
Chani.
Chani, yeah. Sean Young is the actress, but Chani, like, holy shit, she's got like nothing to do. She
she shows up like in his dream, and then he shows up and like, let's bone.
Yeah,
but it's also like another problem that the movie has that is like pretty much straight from the book, is just because this is like it's so far in the future and things have changed so much that I think it's kind of normal in this future society that nobody wants to show any emotion about anything. So most of the characters don't seem to really have too affected, like especially on the Atreides side. Like Paul in particular just is kind of like a robot style character, He's not really motive about anything.
So the performances range from like wooden to like really over the top and hammy. I mean, we're going to talk a lot about the Baron. But good God, like what the
he knew the assignment, man. Just and he nailed it up.
Well, actually, I don't know. Fuck it. Let's talk about it now. The Baron. He's like the main villain of the movie. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What can you say about the Baron?
This is absolute over the top handball.
Why does he float? Is that explained in the novel?
I don't think it is explained. I think it was just something he did. He had like he had a floaty belt and was just like, this is so much better than walking. I think it was because he was just so fucking fat.
That probably, okay, that makes sense. Well, the movie doesn't fucking explain it to you.
Yeah, I mean, but it actually looks pretty cool, I think.
It does actually. It was a kind of a cool touch. And then like I actually did a little research, I guess. So his house, he was supposed to breed with some woman and he didn't want to because he's gay. This is what I read on IMDb. And then he was supposed to produce a child that would be one of the sisterhood people. But then like, I guess bear with me here. This is hard to explain.
It's hard to get through some of this shit.
Yeah. So the child was too weak, I guess, wasn't powerful enough. And then he ends up like raping someone's mom. And basically
I think it might have been Jessica or something, I think, because there is something there that comes up in the second book.
Yeah, isn't the kid
Aaliyah?
No, wait. I don't know. Oh no. Sean Young's character.
Yeah.
I think what's her name?
Oh, Chani.
Chani. I think Chani is the daughter.
I don't think so, because I think she's just straight Fremen. I think.
Okay, I don't know.
Whether Stilgar is like her uncle or something. I think I don't.
But basically, from what I read, and this was just like a brief little blurb on IMDb trivia. I guess he was punished, and that's why he has all these nasty sores on his face. Of course, the movie doesn't explain that. You're watching this movie, and you're just like, "What?
This guy's just nasty."
Yeah. So, I guess that's just the look of the Harkonians. I guess they just have all this like. The rest of them just have like this like pink shit all around their mouth.
They're all gingers.
Yeah, they're all gingers, and then they have like purple pink shit like around their mouths.
Yeah, just that planet just makes you fucking gross.
I guess. But also this is probably the most I know this was kind of a controversial thing when it came out. A lot of critics were saying that this was like a very homophobic movie. Because I guess he kind of sexually assaults that guy, that kid.
Yeah, and then kills him and just kind of plays around in his blood some.
Yeah, and then also too, there's that really funny scene where Sting's in the movie.
Yeah, great.
And he comes out
of like a steam, like some steam. He's just hanging out in some steam
bath or something. I don't know. He comes out and he's all like in his underwear, and the guy's just like, ugh.
Oh yeah, he gets so horned up.
Yo, seriously, I think his boils start pulsating. I could have, maybe I just imagined that, but
no, yeah, like that stuff was like way more explicit in the books, not like big old paragraphs of gross like stuff happening or whatever, but it's just like he was fucking his nephew and basically anything, because like the Harkonnens are just really, really awful. Like you saw they had like the heart plugs installed on.
Yeah, and what's up with that? Like that's not explained. Like what the?
That's just they're just really cruel and sadistic. So at any moment they could just be like, yeah, you're done, and just like pull your little heart plug and you bleed out and die.
Wow.
So yeah, the Harkonnens are just like they're basically just evil for the sake of evil. They're really just awful people. Which is like why is the Emperor like let planet evil like just kind of run amok the whole time? I mean, what are they actually giving to galactic? What are they producing for galactic society? I guess.
Yeah, and that would have been helpful if we got a little in some more insight into like, okay, why does the Emperor hate House Atreides? Because they seem like pretty decent people.
Yeah. I think they might have mentioned it in like one sentence or something, that they're getting popular in the Landsrad, which I guess is like the Intergalactic Congress. But yeah, they blow right by it. It's like one sentence. They're getting too popular.
Yeah, so. I think there was something I think I might have read today that was like the Emperor was basically losing popularity, something like that. So I think he was afraid. Yeah, I guess he was just like afraid of the power that they were getting. I don't know. Again, it's not explained.
Yeah.
Also, too, now correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there's this weapon they use that Paul is like training them with, and basically, hold on, I got the name. I put this in.
Yeah, the weirding module, right?
The weird module or something like that. Mm-hmm. And they basically use like their, I guess they use sound. They use like their voice to like kind of use it. That's not in the book, is it?
I don't think it is. I might be wrong about that. Like I said, it's been a while since I read it, but I'm pretty sure that is not in the book.
Yes, I have it right here. I think in the novel, I think he just taught them how to fight, like hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, which is
and then David Lynch was just like, I don't want to see kung fu on dunes. So he came up with this weird fucking like weapon.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of cool because it's kind of a cool weapon because they're like and then like they blow something up, but it's also like really stupid because
so stupid.
Yeah, like when the Harkonnens come, they're like, oh, let's go get the weirding modules, and they go there and they're like, they've just been like all set on fire. There's like 40 of them on the wall rack or whatever, and they've just all been like, oh no, all our weapons are broken. And then like Paul and Jessica escape, and they have the blueprints for it, and they like just mass produce them in a desert cave somehow. Like, how did you make more of these? Like, well, I mean, I don't care so much about seeing the process of how these things are made, but
that was in the 4-hour cut.
Yeah, at the same time, it's like, all right.
The studio's like, David, you're spending way too much time on weirding modules. Like, you gotta cut some stuff.
It's the movie.
That would have made more sense. I don't know. It would have been cool if he was like teaching them how to like fight, like for real. Like that would have been cool.
Mm-hmm. But then again, like these guys already know how to fight. The Fremen are pretty badass already, and then you give them a super weapon, they're unstoppable. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so yeah, I wrote it down. So I guess from what I read, it was like there's a certain type of martial art. It's called the Bene Gesserit.
Benny Benny Gesserit.
Yes. So it's a type of form he's teaching him, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's something he would have learned from his mother. And yeah.
Yeah, that's some shit. Like, okay, so I think David Lynch, by all account, well, we can talk about this a little bit. Disowned the film.
Mhm.
We were kind of talking offline a little bit. There's multiple cuts of the film.
Yeah.
There's a TV cut that is like it's credited to Alan Smithy, which is like that's kind of the I guess the kind of nickname that directors use when they don't want to be credited for their films.
Yeah, they don't want anybody knowing they did this, or like they were like, you screwed my movie up, take my name off.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, the 2-hour runtime mandate is bullshit. I kind of feel for him there, but also I think David Lynch also added weird, stupid shit like this, the weirding module. So I don't know.
Well, that's all in like the big 3-hour Alan Smithy cut too. But yeah, what the Smithy cut really added was a lot more narration.
Ooh.
But they do it over like still images, like paintings.
Yes, I know the opening is like super long. It's like 7 minutes long, and then it's like they basically show like paintings kind of explaining everything. But I don't know. I prefer the Virginia Madsen talking to the screen.
Gives her something to do, right?
Yeah, I don't know what else.
Well, okay. Well, I guess we should talk about this being a David Lynch film because if you didn't see his name on it, you'd have never guessed, right? If you didn't know, this
is like his first and only foray into making like big sci-fi Hollywood blockbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this movie he was kind of disillusioned a little bit with the studio systems, and then he never really made anything quite like this after that. I mean,
yeah, I guess the only other kind of like I don't really remember too much about it, but like I guess big studio movie, not even a big studio movie, but just studio movie would be like that Straight Story.
Yeah, that was a Disney movie, but even that is kind of like kind of like a small scale, very intimate, kind of character driven. Are you a fan of David Lynch?
I kind of enjoy his work, but I've got to be in the right headspace for it,
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I think he does some of the scariest stuff. Like I think I've seen on film. Like there's some stuff in like Mulholland Drive that it just like scare the shit out of me. Some things in like the last season, the third season of Twin Peaks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Really even the first two seasons.
Yeah, he can do really great with like with tone and stuff. But something I think when I was thinking about this movie in regards to his other work, I don't think he's really he doesn't seem like a guy who really cares too much about narrative. If that makes sense. I think he's much more about like tone and
feeling. I think he said in an interview, he does like a story, but there's abstractions in life. So he's all about kind of like the abstract and weird and, surreal, I like his work. I mean, I don't always understand his work, but it's fun to figure out what everything means.
Yeah. I was trying to watch Inland Empire the other night, like leading into this one. I didn't make it. But
I want to see it. That's like one of the few I haven't seen. I haven't seen Straight Story and I haven't seen Inland Empire.
Yeah, it's not Inland Empire's fault. I was just really tired at the time.
But no, I love Mulholland Drive. I love Blue Velvet. I love. I love most of his stuff. Eraserhead, that's good.
Yeah, and Kyle MacLachlan's kind of his boy, isn't he?
Yeah, this is like the first time they work together. There's actually a lot of people in here that he would end up working with.
Well, was Blue Velvet before this, or
Blue Velvet was after this?
Oh,
I think Blue Velvet was kind of him going back to his roots, because I think this is a very interesting kind of detour in his career. And I think after this movie, he was kind of, like I said, disillusioned with Hollywood. And then, he actually said like he said he sold out doing this movie. Because he knew he wasn't going to get. I think he was like hoping that they would give him final cut, because I guess when he did the Elephant Man, from what I read, he didn't have final cut, but the producers ended up giving it to him because they liked the movie and stuff. They liked what they saw. And I think this one, he was just kind of hoping everything would work out. And that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So,
well, talking about the cast, it's kind of a stacked cast.
You got Kyle MacLachlan. What's that actor's name? He played, I forget his name in Twin Peaks. Everett McGill is the actor's name.
What character was it? You know,
I will look it up real quick. But so you got that guy. Jack Nance from Eraserhead is actually in this movie. He is one of the Harkonian like kind of henchmen. Mm-hmm. If you didn't notice him, don't worry, because he's just another like redheaded dude.
Yeah. There's Patrick Stewart. And Patrick Stewart has looked exactly the same since 1984.
He really has.
Oh, wild. I'll have to go rewatch Life Force, but I'm sure he looks exactly like he does.
Yeah, Everett McGill is the actor, and then I can tell you what character he played. But he played he played Earl in Twin Peaks.
Oh.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, excuse me, Big Ed Hurley. Ed Hurley.
Big Ed, all right.
Yeah.
I'm rewatching season 1 right now.
So he's in that. I gotta think, who else did he work with? Jack Nance. I know he did some stuff with oh gosh. I'm like on IMDb right now. Oh gosh. Oh shit, who is it? I don't know. Anyway.
Moving on. Yeah, but so you got Max von
Sydow
for like a minute. Sean Young's in it for a minute.
Yeah, Blade Runner. She was in Blade Runner.
Yeah, Virginia Madsen's in there for a second doing the narration.
Oh, Dean Stockwell. Oh yeah. He was in Blue Velvet. I think he was in Fire Walk with Me, Twin Peaks. I can't rember.
That was Dean. I think it's Dean Stockwell.
Maybe,
but yeah. Was it Stockwell? Okay, yeah, he was in Fire Walk with Me, and he came back in the 3rd season running that same trailer park. Right?
Oh, I think you're thinking someone else. Anyway.
Oh, well. Anyway, moving on.
Trying to think. Well, there is some Lynch like kind of weird surreal images and stuff. Like there are some like Lynch kind of staples in this movie. There's that scene where like, okay, I guess Lady Jessica is like pregnant, and then they like,
good.
I don't know. That scene was fucking weird. I guess they give her some. What do they give her?
Okay, so she takes the water of life, which I'm trying to think exactly what that was from the book. I think it's like, the book had like, it's like baby sandworm juice or something. I forget. But anyways, you drink that, and it's poisonous, but if you can convert it from poison to regular water in your body, then you kind of like transcend and get like extra powers. So you either get extra powers or you die. So she takes that because the Fremen want her to be their Reverend Mother because their Reverend Mother is dying, but she takes that while she's pregnant. So it affects the kid in her womb, and like David Lynch does a thing where you're basically seeing the kid like in the womb, kind of like basically waking up, sort of. Because as soon as that stuff affects the kid has like all the memories of all of her ancestors, is basically a fully realized adult fetus, which is like super is why she's like called an abomination and all this other stuff by people and can talk. Oh, and there's another person that was Alicia
Witt. Yeah, she was in Twin Peaks.
Yeah,
she was. Was it?
Was she in
she was somebody's sister. She was. Oh gosh, I can't remember. But she was basically like that. Who was the guy that James Hurley was like with? It was like her sister.
Oh, Donna's
sister, and she was in season 3. She is dating that fucking druggy dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's the thing
Yeah,
about
that's
Twin
subplot.
Peaks is like there's so many random subplots.
You want to just talk about Twin Peaks?
Yeah, honestly, I would love to talk about Twin Peaks.
We'll get to that some other time, I guess.
I would love to do like this would be like a pretty big undertaking, but I would love to go episode by episode and just like, especially the third season. The third season's crazy.
Yeah, I was rewatching the third, and like, because I've already seen it, but I was watching it again, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go watch the first season because at least that kind of made sense. But anyways, Dune.
But that scene where you see the fetus like that was kind of like, okay, I'm getting like some Eraserhead vibes.
Mm-hmm. And then there were some other little random things, like especially with the Harkonnen stuff, is like where he's kind of going wild. It's like the architecture when they're kind of flying through it. You got like a big fat man mouth is just like one of the buildings.
Yes.
And there's a scene where like the Baron is given his other nephew, the Beast Raban, like run of Arrakis after they've taken it over. And they've got like a cow kind of hanging upside down.
Yes.
And like a midget's kind of fucking around with it. And he just sort of stops and tears its tongue out and eats it.
Again, just like random shit that's just like, what is that, a cow? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Or they give Thufir
a rat. They give him like a rat.
They
give
him the cat to milk.
Cat, and they're like, milk this. And you're like, what?
The rat tied to it. So
can you milk a rat? Or no, can you milk a cat?
Milk anything with nipples, Barrett.
Hey, you want to just talk about Meet the Parents?
Yeah, let's do that.
What was that that gassy shit? Like it looked like fuel that he was like bathing in. The Baron.
You know, the Harkonnens are just very gross people. So it probably was just oil from a pipe that had busted or something. And he's like, hey, I think he just floats around thinking what's the most grossest, unsettling thing he can do around his people, probably. But yeah, it looked like liquid shit.
Yeah, that was another thing. I was just like, oh, okay. Don't know what that is.
Oh, speaking of liquid shit, I'd never thought this before rewatching this movie, but I gotta say, Planet Arrakis has got to be home to the grossest people in the entire galaxy. And the reason I say this is not to be like anti-Fremen or anything, because they seem really cool. But there's that scene where Max von Sydow shows up as the planetologist Liet Kynes.
Yeah.
Right? And he's teaching them about their still suits, which are the suits they wear when they're out in the desert that can recycle their water, so they'll always have water and stuff.
Yes.
And he's like, so you sweat and it gets caught in these pockets here, and then down like later around the legs, it'll filter out the urine and the feces. Like, oh my God, you guys are just doing in your suits all day. So like, and you know, they don't take baths on Arrakis because like it never rains, so they only have whatever water they got. So in a scene where like Paul's rallying all the Fremen, and there's like 100,000 of them or so, elbow to shoulder in that cave, that's the grossest army, man.
Oh, for sure.
A bunch of dudes just stewing in their own stew.
You know what? Like, I think this movie, it was a pretty big bomb. We should mention that. I think it had like a $40 million budget, which at the time, 84, that is huge.
Yeah.
And it only made like 30. But you know, I think this movie was just too fucking weird for people.
It was, yeah, it's too weird. The source material is really difficult to adapt, I think, because there's so much there, and like the stuff that they're talking about, like, you know, sandworms, like the different ships and everything. That's hard to get on screen, especially back in '84. But yeah, I think it's actually overall it's a pretty good looking movie, especially compared to other sci-fi that came out around that time that wasn't Star Wars.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was just thinking, like, man, Star Wars really was the gold standard back then, because all these like copycat, well, not copycats, but like basically like when Star Wars came out, late 70s, even you know, all throughout the 80s. I mean, studios were just grabbing any
Yeah.
anything that they could get their hands on to get the rights to.
Yeah.
That was sci-fi, and every studio wanted their own Star Wars. But I think there's some kind of shitty like matte lines, some shitty green screen. But I think for the most part, I think this movie looks pretty good.
Yeah, I agree there. And overall, I actually do enjoy this movie. It's not a good movie, but I like this. I wish they had more time to do more stuff, but I love all the lore and stuff, and just like the kind of world that it presents. But I wish there would just been more time to play with it.
It's a cool concept for sure. But I don't know. What was I gonna say? Well, I found a funny tidbit too, because I think my problem with this movie is just kind of the terminology and the language.
Oh yeah.
And it's interesting. I actually watched the trailer for the new one today, and the new one seems like I think they pulled it off. Like there seems to be some levity, some humor. People aren't like talking like Shakespearean actor,
Yeah.
People are actually like kind of talking like normal people. And this, from what I saw in the trailer, people are like emoting.
Yeah.
But it was funny. One of the tidbits I found out is when this movie came out, there were some theaters that were handing out like cards with like the terminology and definitions and everything. Like, yeah, they were handing out like glossary cards. And I just thought like, wow, like,
I feel like that
is so funny.
Yeah. I feel like that happens to David Lynch films, because I saw Mulholland Drive at the Narrow, and when we were walking out, they were handing out like little printouts with like what happened in this movie that we just saw, which is so weird. It was like, okay, so like Naomi Watts' character is from here, and it's like all this other. It's just basically like explaining what this printout thought the movie was about. It's actually kind of helpful.
Well, with Mulholland Drive, like a movie like that, and most of David Lynch's movies, I mean, it's kind of open to your interpretation. But this is not that kind of movie. This is pretty straightforward. Like, okay, like, well, I need to know what this means. I need to know who this is. What I mean, but that is crazy. I don't know if I've ever. I mean, other than your little visit to the Narrow, I don't know if I've ever heard of that. People handing out glossaries.
An explanation for the movie you just saw. It was the wildest thing I've ever had happen to me in a movie.
Now you were mentioning that there's was it Jodorowsky?
Yeah.
Now there's a documentary, Jodorowsky's Dune. I didn't get around to watching it. I still want to watch it, but
I don't know where you find it, but it's amazing. It's like, it's like we could have had this. This would have been so freaking cool. But yeah, I'm gonna say his name wrong. It's like Jodorowsky or something. But anyways, I think he's I want to say South American filmmaker.
I thought he was French. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, he could be
South American, French. Oh,
Spanish. Anyways,
people make that mistake.
He's from somewhere on Earth, and he made some pretty wild like art house films.
He did the Holy Mountain. I hear that's a weird one. That's a famous movie, Holy Mountain.
Yeah. But anyway, he got everything together and was gonna make his version of Dune. And he had like just a murderer's row of talent lined up. Like he had H.R. Giger and like Mobius, who's like a pretty famous artist, sci-fi artist, like doing all the designs for it. He had Orson Welles. He ran into him in a French cafe when Orson Welles was,
he was gonna play the Baron.
Yeah, he was gonna be the Baron Harkonnen. Orson, like this was at the time when Orson Welles was just all about getting fat, right? And man, I can't think of the painter's name. The guy who did like the melting clocks, famous artist. I feel like I'm such a fucking moron for not knowing this guy's name.
I know what you're talking about. Also,
just a weird dude. But pretty flamboyant guy. He was gonna be the Emperor of the Universe.
I have it right here. David Carradine, probably best known for Kill Bill. He was gonna be Leto Atreides. I
Yeah,
don't know
so
who that character is.
That's Paul's dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he was going to cast his own son as Paul.
Yes. Also, Mick Jagger was going to be the Sting role.
Oh.
Fade Ratha.
Rotha.
And then Udo Kier. Do you know who he is?
I think he's
like a famous German actor.
Yeah, I don't know if he's worked with I can't think of anybody's friggin' name now. The fucking guy Werner, did he work with Werner Herzog at all?
Yes.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, is he the crazy guy that wants to kill Herzog? I don't know.
He was gonna play Peter DeFries. I don't know who that character.
Okay, that was Brad Dourif's character in the movie.
Oh, that would have been good.
Yeah, as the evil Mentat.
I think the artist you're thinking of is it Chris Foss?
No, he did the.
Okay, H.R. Giger, Jean Girard.
Who was going to be? Yeah, who was going to be the emperor? Was it?
The emperor was going to be Salvador Dali.
Yeah, Salvador Dali. That's it. Yeah,
Salvador Dali.
He drew like the melting clocks and other like surrealist artwork. It's very, very like kind of like a flamboyant painter dude. Like,
also, Pink Floyd was approached to do the score.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been cool. Well,
Toto did the score. So
the score is pretty good. I gotta say, I like the score.
Yeah.
And then Brian Eno, I think, contributed a little bit too.
Mm-hmm. Like the main kind of theme was like, I can't even do it, but that main sort of theme when you first see the Arrakis is pretty nice.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, it's interesting because like this movie never got made, but well, I think what kept it from getting made was like I think Jodorowsky wanted to make like a 10 to 14 hour movie, and they were no.
Yeah, they keep stopping people from doing that, and I can't figure out why. Like Terry Gilliam was going to do Watchmen at one point, and he was going to do a 12-hour Watchmen movie, and they were like, "No, man, we can't do that. Nobody's going to sit in a movie theater for 12 freaking hours."
I know. Well, I mean, TV wasn't what it was back then.
Yeah,
so it wasn't. Back then, it was just like make a movie or not. Which this movie, I don't know. I feel like Dune should be well, I mean, it was a miniseries. It was on Sci-Fi Channel. Did you watch that?
I did. I watched. Well, I don't know if I watched the whole thing, but I might have watched the. Yeah, they did the first 2 books on Sci-Fi, and I remember watching at least a bit of it.
Did you enjoy it? I bet it sucked because it's sci-fi. It was probably cheap looking.
Yeah, it was pretty cheap looking because of, especially the time when it came out. But I remember it being a lot more faithful to the book as far as things.
Okay.
I was like futzing around on YouTube the other night, and you can find this sci-fi version on YouTube if you ever want to take a look at it. But
I actually kind of do. Yeah, I might do that.
Yeah, it's not great. I think William Hurt is the Duke in this one.
Okay.
So they got a pretty good cast also.
Also, this is a funny story. Jodorowsky, I guess, saw the movie in theaters.
Yeah.
And he like didn't want to see it, and his sons were like, "Come on." And then he was just like so fucking happy that it sucked.
Yeah, one of the really cool things about like watching the documentary is he's like kept all the concept art and all the storyboards and stuff he did for it. And when like they're sitting there describing it, they've got all the art going and they're kind of like animating it, so you can pretty much see like what the movie would have been.
Oh shit!
When he's talking about it, so it's really, really cool if you get a chance to hunt that down.
Yeah, I do want to check it out for sure. Also, did you know that Ridley Scott was at one point going to do it?
No,
I think the Jodorowsky thing obviously wasn't going to happen, and then I think they approached Ridley Scott, and I think he was going to do it, but then his brother died, and I think he just, his mind just wasn't in the right space, and I think he just wanted to do something with a quicker production. So I think he ended up. I think Blade Runner was what he ended up doing.
Wow. Okay.
Because this had a massive like pre-production period. From what I read, David Lynch spent like 3.5 years on this, like writing it and just Yeah, this went through 7 drafts. He did the first 2 drafts with like 2 other writers, and then he just wrote the other 5. I don't think David Lynch should have wrote this. I really don't.
Probably not. But it is interesting. Like you talk about Lynch and Jodorowsky and Ridley Scott, who I didn't know was at all attached to this.
Oh yeah,
at one point. But then you got the new movie with the Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve.
Villeneuve, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I knew I was going to butcher that, but it's kind of interesting that like this property can attracts like this level of talent that wants to work with it. So that kind of speaks to something of the source material, I think.
Well, also Denis Villeneuve. So I think because here's the thing with Lynch, like he, from what I read, like had never read the book. He was not like a big sci-fi guy.
Yeah.
But he thought this movie kind of had a lot of things that he would like. Because I mean, I don't know. I could kind of see this isn't. I could kind of see why he would be attracted to something like this, because there's like weird images and weird shit. Like, I don't know. I could see him like being interested in this, but I don't think he understood like the source material really.
Yeah, I think stuff like the expanded consciousness that the spice would give you. I could see a concept like that being interesting to him as something he might want to try to visualize. But yeah, this the story itself probably isn't something that is terribly interesting to him. I think he would like the consciousness aspects to it, but
yeah, well, there's a lot of dream sequences in this movie, which he's all about the surreal. So
yeah. But like even the dream sequences in this movie, they're all like pretty straightforward. It's like Paul dreaming that Sting is yelling that he wants to kill him. Yeah, so it's not open to a lot of interpretation.
Yeah, they're like, okay, you can get weird, David, but you can't get too weird.
Yeah,
the weirdest he gets, I'm telling you, is the fetus dream.
Yeah,
like little imp. I don't know that whatever that was, the birthing scene.
Yeah. What'd you think of the worms in this?
I thought they looked
the big
cool.
old sandworms.
I thought they looked cool, and they were like the right scale. I thought
they were pretty massive. And like it was kind of weird because like sometimes they look good, sometimes they look like shit, and it was just like
when they were writing the worms, that looked a little like, I guess like the background, like the green screen, like kind of looked a little fakey.
Yeah, you could tell they did their best, but yeah, those worms it was pretty cool, and that's like such a big part of the I don't know, the book, I guess, is just. It's like it would be like Game of Thrones. If the dragons suck, then everything else is gonna suck.
Well, also too, I was gonna say Denis Villeneuve is a big Dune fan, and I think I think I read like an interview with him. He's like, it's always been a dream of his to direct an adaptation. So I think they got the right guy. I think somebody who's a fan and who understands the source material. I don't know. I'm excited for it. I mean, I you know what? I might go see it in theaters.
Yeah, this is the one that might get me back in the theaters. I kind of thought that about like the Suicide Squad, but I didn't go out to the theaters for that.
I did not. I say this, and then I'm gonna come home on Friday. I'm gonna be tired. I'm gonna be like, fuck it. I'll just put it on.
Yeah, HBO Max is kind of spoiling me right now.
I love HBO Max. I hate that they're not gonna do this
forever.
Next year. I don't, but that's the thing though. I don't know how is this the new movie is going to be just the first half of
and so there's no guarantee that you'll get a second movie, right, on this one.
Well,
it's kind of dependent.
I remember when they announced that they were putting all their movies on streaming, HBO Max. I know that I don't think he was upset. I think he was just kind of like annoyed, like you're kind of. I think he said that you're ruining its franchise potential before, you know what I mean, before it even really gets going. Which I don't know how because Suicide Squad bombed in the theaters. I mean, hey, shocker! If you put it on a streaming service, people aren't going to go to the theater.
But yeah, it got great reviews. I think what did it do, like 43 million in its opening week or whatever.
It was like, I think like 20 something million. It
I
did
want to
not
say,
do that
I
great.
think I think it's like 43, but it's not huge numbers, but good numbers for the situation we're in. Because I think the pandemic was, or everything was just kind of surging up again with regards to the Delta and all. But
Well, I was, because I actually follow the box office. Okay, is it Shang-Chi?
Mm-hmm.
That new Marvel movie? That's doing really well.
Yeah, that did incredible.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, people will go see movies. I don't think the pandemic really matters that much.
I think also it's like, that first Suicide Squad movie came out and people were just like, fuck this. But I think that one's caught up with, like, word of mouth, and they know how many people watched it on HBO Max. So
yeah, I don't know how they make. I don't know what their I don't know what their algorithm is with how many views does it need to get. I just don't know how these movies are making money. I really don't.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it'll all be theaters after the last hurrah we're going to get is Matrix Revolutions, and then it's all theaters.
Again. Matrix Resurrection.
Resurrection, that's the one. Whoops. Yeah, Revolution's already out.
I don't know how I feel about a new Matrix movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I care. Yeah,
we can talk about it next year.
I'll bring you on for the sequels. Anything else to add? I do have some pretty interesting reviews.
Oh, I'd like to hear that.
Okay,
I just want to go over the pacing of it real quick, because we already talked about it a lot, but just how rushed this thing feels. Because it starts off, I'm just going to go through this really, really quick. But it starts off at the Emperor's place, and the guild comes up and they're like, "Hey, kill Paul Atreides." He's like, "I'm on it. Don't worry about it. I already got plans." Then we go to the Atreides on their little water world, and they get packed up, and then they spend like a week in charge of Arrakis, and everyone's like, "It's a trap." I'm like, "Yeah, we know. Thanks." And they all get wiped out.
Also, they knew it was a trap. They even said that they suspect a trap. So what were they doing? Well, that guy betrayed them, but that's what it was. Yeah,
and I thought so there was that one character, I think everybody thought was going to be bigger, the Shaddam Mapes, the housekeeper Fremen, who Paul
that lady.
Paul saves her from the needle, and he saves her, and she's like, this whole place is a trap, right? It's like, yeah, everyone's telling me it's a trap. I'm starting to think it's a trap.
It's like John Wick shows up. People keep saying it's a trap. I'm thinking it's a trap.
But and then they have that whole thing where then they take over the Fremen, and then they take over the planet, and it's over. That's like the whole movie. But all right, I don't really go anywhere there. Let's hear some reviews. Sorry.
No,
sorry, I just wasted your audience's time.
No, you didn't. Yeah, no, this is good stuff. Okay, Roger Ebert. I'm gonna tell you what Siskel and Ebert thought.
All right.
Okay. Roger Ebert, thumbs down, gave it 1 out of 4 stars. This movie is a real mess, an incomprehensible, ugly, unstructured, pointless excursion into the murkier realms of one of the most confusing screenplays of all time. The movie's plot will no doubt mean more to people who've read Herbert than to those who are walking in cold. And it was named worst movie of the year for him. Okay. And I'll tell you what Siskel thought. Quote, "It's physically ugly. It contains at least a dozen gory, gross out scenes. Some of the special effects are cheap, surprisingly cheap, because this film cost reported $40 million, and its story is confusing beyond belief. In case I haven't made myself clear, I hated watching this film." And they put it, I think they both said it was their worst film of the year.
Yeah, I gotta believe there was a worse film that came out in 1984 than Dune. But they do make some good points. They make some good points.
They're not wrong.
No, I mean, yeah, if you've read the book, this shit makes a lot more sense. And there was a lot of there's some pretty gnarly little gore bits in it. But yeah, I gotta believe there's something worse that came out in 1984. than Dune.
Ooh, I'm gonna look this up real quick. Worst movie of 1984.
Google Dune.
I'm just curious what the first result's gonna be. Worst. Ooh, I misspelled worst. Instead, I put most.
Just like
What's the most movie of 1984?
Dune.
Well, Dune's the first thing that came up.
Well,
Supergirl came out that year.
Okay,
that's pretty bad. Let's see here. Hills Have Eyes Part 2. Rhinestone with Sylvester Stallone and Dolly Parton.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so
I didn't either. Cannonball Run 2. Never saw it. Okay, so maybe the worst movie in 1984 that people saw.
Yeah, but people saw Cannonball Run 2. Man, imagine them having to like make that decision, like whether this was worse than Cannonball Run 2 or better than it.
Yeah, very harsh. But I do agree with a lot of their sentiments. I don't think it looked cheap though. I don't agree with that.
It was weird. It kind of fluctuated,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. The opening scene, I was like, Jesus Christ, these costumes, these sets, like this looks great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, the sets and the costumes especially look awesome. Like like some of them look boring as hell. Like the Atreides soldiers, they look like crap. But like the still suits, the Harkonnens, the Fremen, the freaking the navigators, like they all looked really
Navigator
cool,
looks fucking cool.
Yeah. That was a cool dude, man.
Yeah, I'm fucking shooting lightning out of his asshole.
Yeah, like a little flappy vagina mouth.
Okay, so those the navigators, I guess they have so how does it work? They give the spice to the navigators, and then they ingest the spice, and then I guess that's because they control the space travel, right?
Yeah, so it's like you can space travel like normal. It's just you're never going to get anywhere because it takes forever.
Right.
But it's weird. I think it's like if you do so much spice, you start looking like that fucked up dude in the fish tank, and then you can float around and basically fold space with your mind or something.
Okay.
And so it's like Event Horizon, except
good movie.
Except Event Horizon is great, but yeah, so it's kind of like Event Horizon except you don't wind up in hell. But I think it's also something where like if you do enough spice, you almost like turn into a worm, kind of.
Oh,
because in the book, like there's like these little sand trout, which like can attach to your body, and like enough of them do, I think you turn into a worm.
That would have been fucking cool. Why didn't they add that?
Yeah, bring back sand trout.
Yeah. Give me the sand trout cut.
Yeah, sand trout, baby.
I would like to see a David Lynch like cut. But they've approached him and he has been like, fuck no.
Yeah, sorry.
So we're never gonna get a release the Lynch cut, unfortunately.
I'm busy filming 15-minute shorts with a monkey for Netflix.
Oh my god. Have you seen that?
Yeah, that shit's awesome. Happy birthday, Mr. Lynch.
I want to watch it. I actually found one review that was like just overwhelmingly positive.
Oh hell yeah, I want to hear that.
It was Dave Anson from Newsweek. Like a 9 out of 10. It's a dark, spellbinding dream full of murmurs and whispers, Byzantine plots, and messianic fevers. It finds its iconography of future deep in the past. It's not always easy to follow, but it's even harder to get out of your system, for better or for worse. It takes more artistic chances than any major American movie around. I mean, he is right about the last part.
Yeah. Two contradictory.
All right. So for this scene, we're going to have a big giant worm thing, and he's going to shoot lightning out of his anus. Action.
Oh. Get it on film. But yeah, no, he's pretty right there, because it's when you think about like the actual story and the material, there's a lot of stuff that's really cool. Like, you got the different like families and like all that intrigue, all the stuff we liked the good parts of Game of Thrones for. This has got. but it just didn't translate well.
Also, I mentioned before earlier in the episode, this movie was accused of being homophobic. This was a thing when I was doing research, I guess. Film scholar Robin Wood called Dune the most obscenely homophobic film I have ever seen, referring to a scene in which Barrett sexually assaults and kills a young man by bleeding him to death, charging it with managing to associate with homosexuality in a single scene, physical grossness, moral depravity, violence, and disease. Gay writer Dennis Altman suggested that the film showed how AIDS references began penetrating popular culture in the 80s, asking, was it just an accident that in the film Dune, the homosexual villain had spirating sores on his face? I think this shit was like already in the books, right? Wasn't he?
Yeah, it was. And it was a bit more, it was more explicit in the book that he was, a pedophile rapist, really. And like in the movie, it's he's really gross and creepy and stuff, but I think it's more played that he is just a fucking creepy maniac murder dude. They don't really like, other than the part where Sting comes out of the steam bag.
That scene is so fucking funny.
Yeah, he got horny. But
I think people need to get over themselves. Like, that's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you're looking too into the movie Dune, I think you need to find a better hobby.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. It's like the guy was just Baron Harkonnen was just not a nice guy.
Yeah.
At all.
Also, remember that part of the movie where he was like, I just want to spit in your face. I want just a little spickle.
Yeah.
like
David, you're not going to let him spit in my face, right? I was like, no.
I got one more tidbit before we get into categories. I don't know if you knew this, but David Lynch was offered Return of the Jedi. He turned it down to do this movie. If you want to go on a YouTube deep dive, there's like David Lynch is he's like on stage and people are asking him questions and they're like asking him about what it was like to meet George Lucas, and it is so fucking funny because David Lynch makes George Lucas seem like a fucking weirdo. He's just like, oh my God, he took me out to a restaurant and all they had was salad. And then he like started showing me pictures of Wookiees. What the fuck's a Wookiee?
He basically is Gordon Cole in real life.
Oh my God. I love that character.
Yeah.
But yeah, Return of the Jedi. I guess he considered that. What would that have been like?
Dude, like, you're my sister, Leia. I don't know why he recast himself as Luke. Like, I'm sorry, Mark. I'm going to be playing your role.
You do a good David Lynch. Wow, that's great.
Thanks.
If I ever write a David Lynch skit, I'm gonna recruit you.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Anything else before we get into categories?
No, but I do remember real quick, like that this was kind of marketed like this would be the thing you take your kids to see after Star Wars, because there were like pop out books with the ships and stuff. Not pop out, but pop out books.
There was a toy line too. There was a toy line.
But no, this was not for kids. So like the toys and stuff, gonna get them hyped up for this movie, and then you're gonna take them to go see it, and they're gonna be freaking out.
Also, David Lynch has a cameo in this. Did you see it?
Oh no, I didn't see it.
He is I guess one of the guys in the control room. That scene where the I guess they're mining and I guess the worm but he's in there and he's like, I don't see any worms. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. All right.
He says some dumbass line like that. But Yeah, this had a toy line. That is so interesting. Who the fuck bought those?
look, honey.
I got the Baron action figure. You have like the Baron action figure with like all the sores and shit all over his face.
Fatty boy. I'm sorry, honey. They were all out of Chewbacca's. I got to go Paul. So Paul Atreides.
Yes. Yeah. Well, okay. So, what is the best scene in the movie?
Visually, I think the best part is, or the best scene to me is when they're doing the Paul and the Fremen are doing their big final attack on the Emperor and the Baron, and the Emperor he fucks off out of the room. He's like, I'm gonna go shoot lasers, and he goes use the laser turrets, and tells the Baron to kill Paul's sister, who had just shown up to deliver the message that we're gonna get you.
We haven't talked enough about her. Oh my god.
Yeah. And she when she kills him, she do exactly. She slashed him in the face and then ripped off his nipple clamps. And he he's freaking out and floating around out of control, and he floats outside and gets eaten by the worm. And then she kind of goes stands at the hole in the wall and just has this really this look on her little 2-year-old face or 3 or 4-year-old face, this is just the best thing ever. So I don't know, that scene I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, it's so weird because she's obviously a little child, but then they dubbed her over with some weird,
a much older
lady.
Older voice.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah, it makes
it's kind of funny. It's almost kind of comical.
But also, she's doing some of the best child acting I think I've ever seen, because like you're saying, it's dubbed, but she's still mouthing the words and emoting and stuff. So I was very impressed by the child performance that was given in this film, and I hate child actors.
I do too.
They're almost uniformly terrible.
Speaking of weird voices, I guess I can't believe we didn't mention this. I guess Paul has the power to talk like this and control people or something like that.
Yeah, so he's got that.
His mom does it too. Please explain that to me.
So okay, that's that Bene Gesserit training where they can expand their consciousness and basically control your mind through their voice. So he's kind of learned a bit of that from his mom, Lady Jessica, and no men can do this, right? That's why the Reverend Mother is testing Paul in the beginning with the Gom Jabbar and the box and stuff.
Thing. Yep.
Because they're like, hey, maybe I don't know, maybe he could be Space Jesus. So they're sort of testing him out a little bit. But yeah, men normally can't do that. So he does it that one time in the ship where they're being taken out to the desert. It doesn't quite work, but after he takes the water of life, it's on. He's reached a new level, So actually, let me take it back. I think the coolest scene in this movie was after he kills Sting. He yelled at Sting so hard that Sting shattered.
Oh yeah.
That was cool.
Okay, best scene for me. I don't know. This is kind of tough. I don't know. I kind of like the introduction. I like the beginning where they that the navigators in that weird little crate thing.
Yeah.
To me, that visually, that was just really cool, and it was a practical. It was a thing they made, a creature. I don't know. I just thought it looked cool,
and it kind of told you a lot about the navigators without telling you, actually coming out and saying it, which was sort of weird for this movie because this movie is all about people just coming out and saying it.
Actually, you hit it on the head. That's the only time. That's the only sort of subtlety or
Yeah, you can tell these guys are really secretive because they're having to clear the room. His daughter's got to go. They're shipping this one weird ass little dude in a walled off fish tank so nobody can see what a freak he is.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like that. I guess it's kind of a lame scene in regards to the rest of the movie, but I don't know. It was cool. I like that set. I don't know. It was just I thought it was a cool way to kick off the movie. So I'm going to go with that.
That's good.
What is the worst scene in the movie?
It's Oh, this. I think when they're sort of towards the beginning, where Paul's like sitting in his desk, like reading the Wikipedia entry on Dune, and and like Patrick Stewart and the crew come rolling into his room, like, and they're all mad at him for like he's got his back turned.
Yes,
and they start doing all the training, and then they bring out the weirding module. He's like fighting with the robot. Oh, that was kind of shit. That was kind of like Flash Gordon level stuff.
Okay, so
But,
mine is the same scene, but it's when they fight with the shields. I was like, this is schlock. But what were you gonna say? I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No. That I didn't really. That whole scene is such a big exposition dump too. But yeah, no, I pretty much agree with you. I do like something I was just thinking about too. I loved that Patrick Stewart's character. It's got like that pug with him, the little pug dog.
Yeah, like what's going on there? I'm sure that's explained in the book. What like
not really. I think they just had dogs, but
Oh, okay. Dogs are still around 10,000 years from now. That's good.
Yeah. But there was the one scene which is it's hilarious every time I see it, when the Harkonnens are like just fucking up the Atreides shit and blowing up their house and everything, and Patrick Stewart like goes running out and he's like leading the men on this big charge. He's got like a big old gun in one hand. He's like, we're gonna keep fighting, men. He's got the gun in one hand and he's got the pug like held in his arms in the other, and he goes charging off the battle just holding this pug.
Oh my god, yeah, that is awesome.
That's hilarious. Like that dog's fucked, isn't it?
And plus he had like the long he's bald, but he had like the long like side hair. So he looked really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Yeah, worst scene for me, as I said. Yeah, I don't like the shields are stupid because you can still penetrate them and kill people.
Yeah, you just have to like stab real slow to get in there.
What? That's stupid. That's where a writer needs to be like, okay, getting rid of that, getting rid of this. This is dumb. Yeah.
It's like if I tried to stab you, like I would normally stab a person I was trying to kill, it wouldn't work with the shield; it'd bounce off. But if I stabbed real slow, it would get through. It's whatever.
What the fuck? I'm sure Dune fans would be pissed off though if they didn't include it. I like the movie, but they didn't have the shields.
Where are the shields? They didn't explain the interaction between a las gun and a shield, and why people don't las gun everyone.
Okay, best quote. I actually wrote down some quotes. It's I think the best quote, the most famous quote has to be, "Father, the sleeper has awakened."
Yeah, there's that one, and then the "Long live the fighters," which is a pretty generic kind of battle cry, but actually kind of cool.
No, it is really cool. Also, too, okay, who is the Brad Dourif character?
Oh, Peter de Vries.
Remember where he's like, it is will alone. I set my mind in motion. It is the juice of the sapo that he says something like really quick, and he's like, I set my mind in motion. I set my mind in motion. Do you know that?
Yeah,
what I'm talking about?
Just fiending out on some spice drugs.
Is that what he was doing? Okay, I didn't realize.
I think he was a little nervous about delivering news to the Baron because the Baron is a fucking maniac, and so he's like, I'm going to get high before I do this. But then the mantra Paul would do, like fear is the mind killer. It's like the little death. I forget the exact quote, but when he's going through the test with the box, he has that little mantra he falls back on.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Okay, this is such a category for this movie. Best unintentional comedic moment. Everything with the Baron.
Mm-hmm.
Everything with the Baron. I think when he's like, especially when he's gawking at Sting, I mean, I was giggling. But but I also have the maturity of a 12-year-old, so I don't,
probably the Patrick Stewart running out with the dog.
That's pretty funny. Yeah,
that's pretty damn funny to me. Yeah,
I thought some of the editing was funny because from one scene, Paul and that one girl meet, and then the next scene they're in bed together, and then the next scene 2 years have passed. Like just like editing, some of the editing was just kind of funny to me unintentionally. But that's because they cut like an hour of the movie. Trying to think what else, anything that was funny.
Yeah, it's kind of funny whenever Virginia Madsen would get on the screen and somebody would tell her to get away, get out.
The opening narration was funny. Oh, yes, I almost forgot. Also,
I that was going through me with like David Lynch, like, oh yeah,
we forgot this line. Virginia, can you add it real quick?
Come back.
Also the end credits were kind of funny. I don't know why.
It looked like a fucking Oscars in memoriam montage, didn't it?
It really did.
We're remembering those we lost. Duncan, Idaho. Laser blast to the face. Paul Atreides. Baron Harkonnen. Sandworm. Got him.
What's the best?
I wish more movies. Yeah, I wish more movies did it like that though, where like you get the credits and you get like the actor's name and the picture of their characters. Like, oh yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, that's who that character was throughout the whole movie I just watched. Best performance. I'm
gonna go with the Baron. I gotta go with the Baron on this one.
Okay.
Just because he was having fun. His assignment was to be like just completely over the top evil, and he nailed it, man. It was. He did the job.
I don't know if he's the best or the worst.
Yeah, that's how you know it's a good performance, when you have to ask those kind of questions.
I don't know. He dial it back a little bit. I don't know. Like just it was a lot. I'm gonna go best performance. I don't really think anyone's that great in the movie. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, he was the Baron's definitely, I think, the most memorable. Also,
I guess you know what I guess I can't really say he's the worst because he is the character I remember the most. So I guess that makes him the best. I guess I'm with you. You kind of won me over on that argument. I guess if I were to, I think Kyle MacLachlan's all right. I just like Kyle MacLachlan, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I like him too, but it's kind of like a nothing part, you know. Like even though he's the main character, it's like you're not really giving him a lot to do.
Yeah, a lot of these are just nothing parts, really.
Yeah,
except the Baron.
Like, yeah.
What is the worst performance?
You know, he didn't have a lot to do, but Sting wasn't very good in this. And I don't know that...
He made that dumb fucking smirk the whole fucking movie.
Yeah,
he looked like he was like finger banging some chick the whole movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it did look like he was just like, it was fresh off the streets of London from 1984. And it's like, oi, Baron, you want me to sort this? But I don't know. You know, I would almost say Kyle MacLachlan, but I think that's just the character. You know,
I think
it's not. I don't think it's his fault.
The girlfriend, that's the thing. I feel there's just none of these characters are really developed. That's so frustrating. I mean, Sean Young, that's like such a nothing part.
Oh, I know who sucked, who actually had stuff to do. Jürgen Prochnow as Leto Atreides. I thought he kind of sucked, like as the Duke. There's that goofy scene where they're saving the spice miners, and he's just like yelling, he's like, "Run!"
Speaking of editing, like I feel like the movie was in like it was mid scene. They cut to him and Lady Jessica boning.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, okay. And then you find out she's pregnant, but like at the time you're just like, what is this? Why cut?
Well, otherwise you had to show that. Otherwise we'd be like, how'd she get pregnant? You never showed them fucking. How did this happen?
Also, I have a nitpick. And it's kind of my problem with the new movie. Well, I guess Paul's supposed to be like 15. I don't know. Yeah. The mom does not seem old enough to be his mom in either movie. Like in this, it's Timothy Chalamet in the new one, and then Rebecca Ferguson is the mom. I mean, Rebecca Ferguson is smoking hot. Not that you can't be older and hot, but like not hot, but I don't know. She's like 30, 37, 38. She's like in her late 30s. I think I don't know.
Well, okay. Well, here's what I would say to explain that. Like, so the spice like extends your life also.
That's true. Okay,
So
good
it
point. I
probably
didn't even think of
keeps,
that.
yeah, so it probably keeps you looking younger.
Oh, I didn't. Well, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Question
There
answered.
we go.
I'm trying to think. Anything else we want to add before our final thoughts and ratings?
No, I think I'm good.
What is your rating out of 5? And kind of give me your just final / general thoughts.
You know what? This is a movie I've always been kind of fond of. So but I recognize its shortcomings, of which there are many. What did I give music out of 5?
You gave 5 out of 5 for music.
I gave it a what?
No, I was kidding. I think you gave it but what did you give it? I think like a 1.
Oh, okay. Well, this is better than music.
I agree. It is better than
I'm gonna give it, I'm gonna give it a 3. It seems a little high now that I say it, but I'm gonna stick by it. I'm gonna give it a 3 just because it's an interesting movie, not a great movie, and you can see that there could have been a great movie. It's not there, but it's interesting, and it's interesting enough that I think you should probably see it if you want to see it.
No, I agree with you. I think I don't think it's a good movie, but I think it's a fascinating movie. I would go 2 out of 5. I mean, I didn't hate it, but I do. Yeah, I mean, the script's a mess. The characters are severely underdeveloped. Everything just feels so rushed. The terminology, the language, it's a lot. And this would have been better off as a miniseries. I mean, I know they're splitting the new movie into 2. We hope it gets this part 2. But yeah, I mean, the 2-hour studio mandate, it just did not do this story justice. It's a shame. I mean, this was the case of studio meddling, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I mean, visually though, I mean, it's a spectacular looking movie. I mean, the effects, the costumes, the sets. This movie does have its charm. I will say, I could definitely see why it has a cult following. I mean, it is kind of a fun, campy movie. I mean,
it's a weird little freak show.
It's a weird little feature, and if I don't know how much you're going to get out of it if you're a fan of the book, because I haven't read it, but I think if you're a Lynch fan, I think this is just kind of a interesting little detour in his filmography.
It's kind of like it's like Alien 3 with Fincher, another movie that got like fucked over by studio meddling that probably could have been really cool, and then the director just made so much more interesting stuff after that. Yeah. Was David Lynch the David Fincher of the 80s?
I think so.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. Well, okay. I think that about does it. I'm excited for the new movie. Are you excited for the new movie?
I'm super excited, man. That thing looks great, and I've liked all of that the guy's name, who I cannot pronounce. I liked all of his movies.
Denis Villeneuve.
I liked all of Villeneuve's movies. Yeah, especially liked Blade Runner 2049. Like Prisoners was great. Arrival.
Sicario. That's another good one.
Oh yeah, he did Sicario.
He did Sicario.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I fucking love Sicario.
That's good. That's a good movie. All right.
Well, thanks for coming on the show again.
Hell yeah, brother. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. I'll have you on again for something fucking weird. We'll figure it out.
All right. Yeah, we still got to do cats at some point.
Well, yeah, we're gonna figure out something with cats. Whether it's a commentary, I want to do something with it. But all right. Well, thanks for listening, and I will see you guys next time.